Dr. Mitnaul, my 4-year-old just doesn't listen, and it's making me want to lose my hair. What can I do? Welcome to the Dr. Mitnaul Show, where we talk about the hardest job on the planet, and that is raising healthy, well-connected kids in the age of screens. I'm Dr. Larry Mitnaul, double board certified child and adolescent psychiatrist, and also father of 7, so I get some practice at this as well. Let's get to what matters most to you. So in today's show, we'll talk about Bluey parenting. Is that the blueprint for building and maintaining some of the strongest connections that we can with our kids? We'll also tackle your question of the day, and we'll talk about a family hack of how do we turn passive activities into active ones that lead to greater connection and attachment with our own kids. And before we jump into Bluey, or any other colors for that matter, there's one thing that keeps me from feeling blue, and that's wearing comfortable clothing, which is why I love our sponsor, Be Well Collective Apparel. Parenting is stressful enough when I do need to be wearing something that allows me to get down with the kids and play, but also have a good time. Even with the teenagers, they like playing sports too. I like this fit that is breathable and reminds me to take a breath and appreciate the moments that I have with my kids. Learn more by checking out the description box below. Now, back to me. So for those who don't know, there is this amazing and magical show called Bluey. It's a cartoon, and I'm going to recommend that not only you see it, but everyone in your family. This is the type of show that even your teens who seem too cool to watch little kiddie shows are going to give it the side eye, and then 15 minutes in are going to realize they're watching it and laughing just as much as everyone else in the room. So if you don't know, this is an Australian cartoon that features a mom, a dad, and then 2 sisters, Bluey and Bingo, and they just have adventures together. Now you might say, that premise sounds boring. How could anyone like this show? But if you are saying that, it's somehow you've avoided being on Instagram, TikTok, or anywhere else in the world where young people are talking about television, because this show is good. And it has the rare position of being a show that not only people are talking about, but should be talking about. And why? Because there are so few depictions of family life in all of its splendid joy. And when I say splendid joy, the kids encounter real problems, and the show is written in such a way that they really tackle them head on by using humor, by using wit, but not in a way that talks down to the audience. The dad is hilarious. He's not the bumbling dads of Homer Simpson that, of yesteryear, where they make all the bad decisions and are really emotionally unavailable to their kids. He actually gets down to their level and often is calling them up to learn a new skill or to tackle a new challenge through the use of imagination and play in ways that they never dreamed of before. So what's the cheat code? What's the one thing that you should take away from watching Bluey? And that is, no matter what the obstacle that your child encounters or that you encounter as a parent, there's a way to take this on and to reframe it into an opportunity to grow closer together. We often look as parents, and I'm guilty of this as well, so I'm not preaching down to you. This actually is a message for me as well. But I look at the hardships of sometimes kid life when, peers are treating you poorly, or you're feeling disappointed, or you need to make really big transitions. Maybe you're leaving the neighborhood and the place that you know and are really familiar with because life circumstances have changed. That there's a way to reframe without putting down the negative feelings that you might have, right? They don't demonize anger or sadness or worry, but they put them in their appropriate context, which is these are parts of really the human experience that we can actually kind of lift up using humor and family love together to reframe and to turn into something beautiful. You're welcome. Now, let's get to your parenting challenges. Dr. Mitnaul, my 4-year-old just doesn't listen, and it's making me want to lose my hair. So here's my favorite phrase to use, especially when working with young kids and my own kids, which is try again. This gives an opportunity for us to have a different type of encounter rather than, I place a demand and I'm setting you up for us to have a knockdown drag out about who's going to win or who's going to give in or who's going to get what they want while the other person doesn't. The goal is, how do I say yes to you? How do you help me to say yes to the appropriate request that you're giving me? Now, sometimes the request isn't appropriate and the only answer is no, or not yet, or not right now. And that still may be met with tears and frustration. But often, what I'm recognizing is that early on, we miss the opportunity to help train our children in ways that help us to respond to them. And so by using a phrase like try, again, it gives the child a chance to pause. It gives us a chance to pause and to think about what is the most helpful situation. So I'm going to give a silly example from my own life. My daughter, one day at breakfast, is asking for milk, and at the time she was using a sippy cup. So she looks at me lovingly with the cutest eyes. Guys, you have to imagine, just the cutest eyes in the world, and says, "Dad, give me milk." In response, I almost did her bidding. I almost followed through with the command just because she's really cute. And even though it was barked as a command, her voice was so sweet that I was tempted to just do what she wanted to do. But I had the clarity of mind, at least in that one moment, to say, "Can we try this again?" She paused for a second and said, "Can I have milk, please?" I can't do her cute accent. I wish I could. "Can I have it, please?" And so what did she get in return? 2 cups of milk. And so I think she looked at herself like, I can't believe that that worked. Now, what is the principle? What was going on there? I wanted to reward the fact that she took the pause, took the direction from me, and then found a way that actually helped open the door. Often we get in unnecessary confrontations with kids because we think it's our will against their will, where often the strategy is, how can you help me say yes? And often that's saying it in the right tone, saying it at the right time, or in the right situation. All right, so the next time that you're at dinner and you're tempted to pull your hair out because you're frustrated and they're making demands of you, here's what I want you to do. Try again and say it in a loving way. It helps if you smile and are looking directly into their eyes. Give them a chance to respond in a different way to you. And if they are able to get it and do it well, I want you to reward their effort for taking a pause and saying it in a way that's constructive and healthy for the family. All right, and our family hack for today is turning passive enjoyments into active ones. Often we are complaining at our kids for being on screens or just sitting there on the couch, doom scrolling, right? But we all know that we too can be guilty of that. And so one of the frameworks that often help my families that I see is to think about the things that you really enjoy, and then how can you make those things active? Is it okay to watch an NBA game together? Absolutely. But we should be just as often thinking about, are there times when I can be inviting the kids to come out with me to shoot hoops in the driveway, at the park, at the elementary school? If we're talking about playing Mario Brothers, is there a chance for us to use those old Amazon boxes that have been just piling up in the garage and turning that into an obstacle course? And someone wears red and someone wears green, and we're hopping around and getting some steps in, but also having mutual enjoyment together. That allows us to jump into our imaginative mode. And actually, that's part of what the Bluey parents do so well, is jumping and using imagination to actually make that connection. The thing that you enjoy, we actually can experience in the real world in a deeper way. So turn the passive into something active. You can do it. And speaking of going from passive to active, don't assume that your child's devices are going to police themselves, or that the blocks that you put on 2 months ago are actually even still active on your child's phone today. And so for this, I trust Bark. Bark is the one company that we've used within my own home that have been really helpful, helping me stay connected to my kids, also being able to be a monitor of all the things that are being developed in real time, day by day, that would be impossible as a parent to keep up with. You definitely won't go wrong in checking out their kind of brand of services, because they really just do a great job of empowering parents around tech time. Be sure to check out the discount code in the description box below that you can get from us, and back to the show. All right, family, so what have we learned? That Bluey can be a really happy template for ideas of how we can connect to our kids, that we can offer grace and ask kids to try again as a means to shape their behavior so that we're having more valuable time together, communicating well, and then also invite kids into our world and take some of our passive activities and let's make them active. I think together we can do this, guys, and our kids will appreciate us for it. Remember, there's no connection like your connection. Don't forget to like, share, and follow us, along with sending us your questions so I can address them in subsequent episodes. Shout out to my favorite DJ, my son, and as always, be well.